We begin tonight with new details behind a deadly New Year's tragedy in New Orleans. At least 15 people killed, dozens more injured after a pickup truck drove through a crowd on Bourbon Street. You can see a look at the scene earlier this morning as police and other officials responded. Authorities now investigating the attack as an act of terror. It's a developing story that we have been following all day, and now we are learning more about the suspect killed by police, Shamsu Dinjabar, and what specifically happened during that attack. Now, authorities are learning improvised explosive devices were found in and around the scene on Bourbon Street where the attack happened. Law enforcement says when those devices were found, they could have been detonated. Officials also confirmed Jabbar was firing shots after deliberately driving through the crowd. He also opened fire on police officers before he was killed. 2 officers were hit. One New Orleans city councilor spoke to our partner station and says an attack of this magnitude is something foreign for this city.
My heart's and prayers are with the family members. I don't just say that lightly because there are people who are bringing in this joyous day on a mournful note. But it's just something that's surreal. This does not happen in our city.
In the latest word from law enforcement to ABC News, investigators believe the truck driver did not act alone. Video surveillance appears to show several people planting those explosives before the attack. ABC's Rena Roy explains what those investigators are now learning.
New Orleans famed Bourbon Street, now a crime scene as the FBI investigates what they're calling a terror attack on New Year's Day. Federal officials identifying the suspect as 42-year-old Shamsu Dinjabar, a U.S.-born citizen from Texas and Army veteran. Police say he rammed a rented pickup truck into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street just after 3 a.m., driving 3 blocks before crashing, then getting out and firing at police with an assault rifle. Officials say 2 officers were hurt before police shot and killed the suspect. Witnesses describe the scene as gruesome.
What we saw was insanity. I mean, something out of a movie. The graphic nature of it, and it was unbelievable.
Investigators say they found an ISIS flag, weapons, and improvised explosive devices inside the truck. They're now working to determine whether he had any affiliations with terrorist organizations. The FBI says they also discovered more IEDs planted around the area in the historic French Quarter, some of which were deemed viable according to sources.
As of now, 2 IEDs have been found and rendered safe.
Sources tell ABC News that police have reviewed surveillance video that appears to show several people planting those IEDs prior to the vehicle attack, leading the FBI to conclude that the driver had help. Investigators working to identify those people.
We do not believe that Jabbar was solely responsible. We are aggressively running down every lead, including those of his known associates.
Officials also question about whether barricades were up along Bourbon Street.
This particular terrorist drove around onto the sidewalk and got around the hard target, where he did have a car there, we had barriers there, we had officers there, and they still got around.
And going forward, police departments nationwide are telling ABC News they are now concerned and focused about potential copycat attacks. The situation in New Orleans comes more than a week after reports of a car driving into a Christmas market crowd in Germany. The FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and National Counterterrorism Center recently issued a joint intelligence bulletin warning law enforcement across the country that vehicle ramming was a key area of concern. 5 people were killed in the Germany attack, leading authorities in the U.S. to step up security measures for New Year's events where crowds were expected. As officials continue to investigate, tonight's originally scheduled college football playoff game in New Orleans will be postponed until tomorrow at 3. The All-State Sugar Bowl initially made the announcement about the game being postponed just hours ago. The matchup was between Georgia and Notre Dame. And we'll have up-to-date coverage later tonight right here on Local 5. ABC News World News tonight will have the latest on the authorities' ongoing investigation and more just right after this newscast.